Good morning, watch nerds. For those of you who haven't watched my channel before, I try and keep my videos fairly short and get to the point. I believe it's the watch you want to know about. I suspect you don't want to sit through half an hour of my boring and unnecessary chatter. Unfortunately, I do not receive any payment or free watches, so the equipment and lighting that I use are basic to say the least. So please bear that in mind. Now I've managed to talk myself down, can you please subscribe? I recently won a Bulgari aluminium watch in an eBay auction for a great price. Unfortunately it turned out to be a fake, so it's now on the way back to the seller for a full refund. Now this left a slot in my watch box for something a little bit more genuine, so in stepped the Helm Komodo. For some time I considered buying one of these, but the fact getting hold of one is as hard as getting hold of a Rolex, and the aesthetics are a little bit tawny for me. I put it off. Now one of these purchased new and direct will cost you $295 plus $35 carriage. Add to that 20% duty we have to pay in the UK, and we're talking about £305 once it arrives to your door. Now this is exactly what I paid for this excellent condition used one, so thanks to the eBay seller James111107. And welcome to my unpaid and unsponsored review of the Helm Komodo. Helm watches were originally based in North Carolina in the good old US of A, although they're manufactured in Hong Kong or China. Each watch is QC checked before they're sent out, and they're ISO 6425 certified, which amongst other things means it's tested to 125% of its water resistance rating for a long period of time. This means the watch can carry the word divers on the dial. And for those interested, this is my watch of the day. It's the Eco Nutra Avaro. It's an Italian micro brand, and this is a 39mm sports watch with a Sellita SW200 inside. And this is the box the watch came in, and there's all sorts of goodies. On the right there's the record of water testing, a 1-year international warranty card, some instructions, a cleaning cloth, the spare links, a screwdriver for the bracelet, some spring bars and some pins for the bracelet as well. So let's look at the dimensions. Now this is one of Helm's smaller watches, and it's got a case size of 40mm. The lug width is 20mm, the lug to lug is 47mm, and the depth is a rather chunky 15.3mm, but that includes a double dome sapphire with some AR coating. Now the watch has got a 300 metre depth rating, which leads me to think that's why it's so thick. Now I believe Helm should have made the watch a little bit thinner and reduced the water resistance to 200 metres, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person to have said that. Now this watch isn't for the faint-hearted, and unsized on this bracelet it weighs about 220 grams. Inside the watch is the good old Seiko NH35 automatic movement, which is probably ideal for this type of watch at this price point. It's a rugged and reliable movement which can be reasonably accurate if regulated correctly. It ticks away at 21,600 beats per hour, it hacks and it hand winds, and it's got a power reserve of about 42 hours. If one of these does ever go wrong, it's cheaper to replace it than repair it. I can tell you that in real life this one's running at about -3 seconds a day, but let's see what the time grapher thinks of it. And there we are, this is dialed down. The beat error is a tad high, but not worth taking the back off for. The amplitude's okay, and the rate is very good as well. The chunky 7mm by 5mm crown screws down, it's signed and it's very well nailed. As you can see, it's partially protected by crown guards, but we'll get to the case in a minute. It almost goes without saying that it operates the watch without any issues, and the engagement is surprisingly smooth. Now I normally gravitate towards vintage and more dressy type watches, so coming to terms with this case has been quite difficult. That said, it's very well finished. It's all brushed, as it should be on this type of watch, and I'm pleased to see that Helm have resisted the temptation to use vertical brushing on the sides. Now to make life easier, they've included drilled lugs as well. Now despite its depth and its weight, it actually wears really well on the back of my 17cm wrist. Well, I think so anyway. The screw down case back is superb, and it's an example of how well this watch is put together. I like the fact it's deeply engraved rather than etched, and it's got the Helm logo in the centre and some basic information engraved around the sides. Now this is my second complaint. The bezel insert is PVD coated steel, and I think on this type of watch a ceramic insert would have been better. It's loomed and it's got 120 click unidirectional action with no backplay or wobble, and it all lines up very well. Now the action is okay, but nothing to write home about. I'll turn it in a minute and you can hear that it's not totally even all the way round. It's very easy to grip though, and like the rest of the watch, it will do the job that it's designed to do. Now let's have a listen. Moving on to the dial. Well, this watch is available in black, white or this orange, and to be honest I wouldn't have bought either of the other two colours, but that's just personal. There's no mistaking this is a dive watch, and the dial helps confirm this. That said, there are a few nice touches, like the round coloured matched date window over the 6 o'clock and the black crosshairs. There is a minute track on the chapter ring, the Helm logo under the 12 o'clock, and divers 300 metres above the already mentioned date window. That's about it really. The lume is incredible, and I believe Helm are famous for it. This is BGW9 and there's gallons of it. In actual fact, I think it may have been applied with a roller. It's not only bright, it lasts for absolutely hours. Now let's have a look at it. Now when James originally ordered this watch, he negotiated they put it on an engineer bracelet they normally sell, rather than supply it on the run-of-the-mill oyster style bracelet. Well done James, I think you did well, because this bracelet suits the watch perfectly. Now it's as chunky as the rest of the watch. It's got solid end links that fit perfectly to the case, but it doesn't have quick release spring bars. However, it does have drilled lugs, I mentioned that earlier I think. Now it starts off at 20mm, but it's got no taper, which I think helps it grip the wrist better. For adjustment, it's got very well engineered screw pins. Now the early Komodos had a massive clasp with a diver's extension. This was very practical, but apparently everybody moaned about the size, so they put this one on it. It's 22mm wide, and it's a milled friction clasp. To be honest, I wish it had double pushers, as I think that's easier to operate, and it may be more secure as well. Now like the rest of the case, it's all brushed and it's signed. Now with the small links on the bracelet and these 6 micro adjustments, getting a perfect fit was very easy. Now it was also supplied with this single pass NATO strap, which in actual fact is very good quality. I always like a freebie, but I won't be using this one, especially as I don't think NATO's particularly suit divers' watches. So what do I think of the Helm Komodo? Helm watches have always received a lot of hype, and now I can see why. Okay, the bezel isn't the best, and the clasp could be better as well, but most of all, I would prefer it to be a little bit thinner, even if that means a lesser water resistance. But in general, the build quality is absolutely fantastic. Now this is a real tall diver, and if you compare it with a Seiko equivalent for a similar amount of money, It completely knocks it out of the park. So would I recommend one? Well, if you can actually get your hands on one, certainly. That brings me to the end of this review. So if you enjoyed it, please click on the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And please get your friends, family and pets to do the same. Leave your comments below and enjoy the rest of your day.